Hi, I'm Malika Bilal. Today, India's economy is booming, but many Indian women have chosen to remove themselves from the country's labor market.
So right to link these two, women's status and economic participation, because in fact, it's a very good indicator of women's status in economy or in society. So you find across the world where you have higher work participation rates of women, there is generally a better sense of gender empowerment or gender equity along many other indicators.
The decision to leave my career was encouraged by my mother. She was the one who said that you worked enough number of years, now you need to take care of your son. In Indian society, we don't have the man giving up careers and sitting in the house. It doesn't happen.
Welcome friends. Today I would like to discuss with you an issue which could have long-lasting ramifications on our country's developmental prospects. This issue is regarding a problem which has been plaguing the Indian economy and the society for a very long time. Despite rapid economic growth, declining fertility, and an increase in education of women in India over the past 3 decades, the female workforce participation rate in the country continues to remain abysmally low by global standards. In both rural and urban India, the male workforce participation is much higher than that of females. According to the 2019-2020 report of Periodic Labour Force Survey conducted by the National Statistics Office, the estimated worker population ratio both for male and female was 73% and 28.7% respectively. Among rural women aged 25 to 60, the fall has occurred mainly among those currently married, which is almost 90% of all the women in that group. Women are grossly underrepresented in most of the industries in our country like pharmaceuticals, healthcare, information technology, automotive, and even the agricultural sector. We already know that even in 2022, the biggest percentage of Indian workforce is still employed in the agricultural sector. So it is quite obvious that the female workforce is significantly impacted by the recent contraction of the number of jobs available in the agricultural sector, mostly because of the shocks like COVID-induced economic downturn. There is a gendered division of labor in Indian agricultural operations wherein female labor is less likely to be used in operations that require physical strength like tilling and more likely to be utilized in tasks that require precision like sowing, transplanting, and weeding. This results in limited alternatives for women leaving agriculture due to mechanization, which has increased by 32% from 1999 to 2011. The National Sample Survey shows that the lack of access to jobs near one's household is one of the biggest impediments towards women landing a job outside of the farm sector. Lower female mobility restricts women's access to non-farm jobs in construction or in low-skilled services. Employment data from International Crops Research Institute for Semi-Arid Tropics survey shows that 32% of males work outside the village, mostly in urban centers, but barely 5% of women in the workforce do so. At the same time, less than graduate education restricts their access to higher skilled service sector jobs. In India, the cultural aspect too plays a significant role in determining whether a woman can get access to education or land a job. As the country is going wealthier, more and more families are deciding to not allow women to go and work outside of their family. It is because of the fact that many wealthier families who have a conservative approach towards life want their women to remain within the four walls of the house. This accords them social status, and for them it is much more important than allowing women to go outside and become financially independent. People believe that if women get educated, they might work and become financially independent, and then they may not obey and respect the family. It is also evident according to the government data that states after the first COVID lockdown in 2020, the country's leading matrimony websites had reported a spike in new registrations. In many states, marriages among children and young adults under 18 years of age jumped by 80% points. For us, it is important to know that the further declining female workforce participation rate has a direct impact on the per capita income as well as the GDP of the country. The absence of financially independent women within a household not only reduces the bargaining power that such women might have, but also the overall income of the household. It is interesting to note that in India, women constitute around 48% of the entire population, but barely contribute 17% to the GDP. Compare this with 40% in China. According to Bloomberg Economics, improved access to education, childcare, and flexible labor arrangements for women could help add $20 trillion to global GDP by 2050. I think we Indians should strongly aspire to grab a lion's share of the pie. To improve female employment rates in India, government should be providing women with skills that align with demand in the labor market. Also, providing safe and accessible transport for women could perhaps induce more of them to enter the labor market. Women's participation in economy not only increases household incomes but also helps families escape poverty and increase their consumption of goods and services. A cue could be taken from our South Asian neighbor Bangladesh, which has taken significant strides in improving their female labor workforce participation rates in the past couple of decades. This has been attributed to the growth in the ready-made garment industry and easy access to microcredit, which has in turn helped improve the farm sector as well. So it is important for India to keep investing on labor-intensive industries like textile and other export-oriented manufacturing that has done wonders for countries like China and ASEAN nations. If we compare the female workforce participation rates in India with global standards, we would be actually put to shame. In Europe, the female workforce participation rate hovers around 65 to 67%, whereas in North America, this rate is even higher at around 69%. But of course, even in the developed countries, women continue to be neglected in leadership positions like boardroom executives or CEOs. You can only imagine what the situation might be in a country like ours. In conclusion, it is my humble request to the government, the policymakers, and obviously the society at large that we need to address this catastrophic problem as soon as possible. According to World Bank, in South Asia itself, the loss from low female labor participation amounts to somewhere around $9.1 trillion. Obviously, the major burden is carried by India. Therefore, it is pertinent that we should strive towards rapid increase of the number of female workers, especially in the manufacturing sector. Finally, I would like to add something which could be important for all of my viewers. If you have any queries regarding the topic which I currently discussed, or you have something which is bugging your mind, any topic, it could be related to technology, to science, to literature, to economics, anything which you look around you, you can directly ask me those questions by using the hashtag HeyHOC. Hashtag HeyHOC. I will answer as many of them as possible in the end of my videos and also through the YouTube shorts which I will be putting out in the coming days. Thank you for tuning in. Namaste.